Right, so welcome back. This is episode three of my new podcast. So far I've had about 100 views on my two podcasts so far. So thank you to everybody
Mm.
for watching. We have another unbelievable guest on tonight. And I'm just gonna go straight to it. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why you're doing it and what you do.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Dylan. I'm a 22-year-old football coach from London in England. And I'm currently coaching for Arsenal girls under 10s in the academy. I'm currently managing a under 14 youth team as well. So yeah, been coaching for about 8 years now. So been doing it a while and yeah, really enjoying the process and coaching at the moment.
So 8 years, so that's what are we saying? 16? No, 14?
14, yeah.
14. Wow, wow, wow. So you got in really,
Yeah.
really early.
Yeah, really young. Yeah, it was an early age to get started in coaching, but yeah, I've enjoyed it ever since, and yeah, I'm glad I started at that young age.
Was
Yeah.
was that something that sort of just came about when you were that age? You were just like kind of when you got to that age, you were just like, yeah, I'm gonna maybe leave football and just gonna go full focus on coaching.
No, so pretty much my mum was trying to get me a job,
Yeah,
and she was speaking to my old football coach, and if they needed any help, just like assisting at some just soccer sessions on a Monday and a Saturday, and then I started doing that really. So started off as an assistant, and then worked my way up as a lead coach there at like 16. So yeah, it was good. It was good to get into it and get that experience at a young age. So glad it happened. Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant. And is there is there a reason why? Obviously, well, I can kind of tell. Like, if you started doing this when you're 14, like you obviously like football, but sort of what's your why of what you're doing right now?
The main thing that kind of motivates me to coach and the kind of real reason behind it is because when I was playing when I was younger, I didn't really get that good level of coaching, you know.
Yeah.
So that kind of motivates me to be a good coach and help develop and improve players as much as possible. So that's kind of my drive to kind of yeah push players to the maximum and yeah get them to the next level really.
Nice. And just tell everybody, how did the Arsenal role come about, and how long have you been there? Like, what was the process
Mhm.
like going from where you were before into
Yeah.
Arsenal and then to the coaching with the under tens?
Yeah, so I was recently in non-league before Arsenal, so I was coaching like semi-professional men's, and I decided to leave a Step Five club that I was at because of this opportunity that came up. So my friend who knew the under nine to under 13 phase lead at Arsenal, they was looking for an under 10s coach, so he put my name forward. Gave her my number. She contacted me, and then we got. She called me the next day, and then we got an interview sorted the next week. Had the interview, did a practical interview, and then yeah, got in ever since September. So been about 6 months now. So yeah, really enjoying it. It's such an amazing environment to be in, and to learn off the great coaches as well. So yeah, really enjoying it and really grateful for that opportunity.
Wow. One thing actually I want to touch on there, right? I had this as well. I worked in a professional academy back here for 2 years, but
Mhm.
for your induction, and I know one or two people as well who've done sort of like practical, like a practical interview. And from my point of view, is you go out and do a coaching session. Is that right?
Yeah, so so they provided like a topic, and you go and coach that topic for half an hour or however long they
Oh,
kind
okay,
of
yeah.
say. Yeah.
And then my point was how do you find when you're going out to do this and knowing that there could be 5, 10, 15 people watching you? Does that like is that in the back of your mind, or like, or do you care that they're over there watching, or how do you deal with that?
Um, there was only about two or three coaches watching, so it wasn't like a massive crowd, which wasn't really off-putting. But in terms of, I knew obviously I was being observed by the phase lead. I just thought before I went into it, just give it everything you got. You know, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, so just give it everything, believe in yourself, and yeah, just give it the best you got and see what happens really. And that's what I did. So yeah, I was just yeah bit nervous, obviously, but yeah, I think that helps as well. That anxiousness just pushes you through that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, very good. No, that's it's good. I think people, it's when you're focused on what you're doing, because like that, it's sort of for my situation, it was parents that were watching. Like we were in like in an indoor hall, and there was parents that were up on
hmm
a terrace type thing that were able to look, and then kind of like when you first go in and you're up there looking, and because you could have like 15, 16 kids, and if you're up there and there could be 30 people up there looking down at you, and then you might be thinking about it, but then obviously over over time it goes away. But just moving on,
yeah,
what sort of like massive goals, like I'm talking as big as you can, what sort of massive goals would you have? Say even if this is like 20 years down the line, or it could be
yeah.
10 years down the line or whatever.
hmm
What would you say to
Um,
your anything? Could be anything.
I know it's a massive shout, but my end goal is probably to manage Arsenal. Now I know it's a
Yeah.
crazy aspiration and crazy dream, but that's something I'm putting my mind towards in terms of like an end goal, shall I say?
Wow.
So just working my way up to manage the team I support. But obviously it's a long shot. Got to go through lots of coaching badges, lots of experience. Still got plenty of years ahead of me. So, but that's kind of the end goal, I'd say. But yeah, just recent kind of goal, like in the like short term, I'd probably say move abroad to coach full time, to be coaching like every single day football, just get more hours on the grass and yeah, get my UEFA B and just keep learning and keep coaching really.
Nice, nice. And is part of the reason why you still coach with the under 10s in Arsenal and the under 14s, is part of that reason just because you want to be coaching, say whatever Monday to Friday or whatever it is, and then get your game or two games in on the weekend.
Yeah, I'd say obviously I'm loving it at the moment at Arsenal, but in terms of I want to be doing it full time. So after the season's done, 'cause I'm still at uni, so I've got my last year of uni. So once that's all done, everything's done, that's when I'll look to kind of move abroad and take that next step. But I'm just waiting until everything's finished, like this season in uni, and then yeah, I'm out. I'm out of the UK.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anywhere in mind? Any whatever country in mind?
Hmm. I've got an interview with a club in Denmark at the moment, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But
Oh
obviously,
wow.
I'm just open-minded to moving in Europe in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't really bother me where just to get on the grass and just coach really.
Unbelievable. And like for you, what would sort of be, say if you go move abroad, what would be like your next step up in terms of like, would you like
hmm
to go and say do maybe an under 12s, an under 15 team, an under 18 team? What would you say?
Um, I don't really have a preference in terms of I would prefer it to be 11 aside academy potentially, but I wouldn't be um like off putted by going to like men's or women's environments in terms of like the first team. So I'm open to all kind of categories of coaching really because I've coached in the girls' game at Arsenal as well. I've coached in nearly all of them, so I'm quite open minded to see where I go. Yeah,
Oh,
Mhm.
it's brilliant to hear because like
Yeah.
I know for a fact like a lot of coaches, if you were offered say a certain role, they might be like no, unless it's this or unless it's whatever an age group, they they take it. And has that sort of open mindedness always been there sort of like since you started, or is it kind of something that's come like the older you got and maybe the more you've progressed up through the age groups?
I'd say I prefer definitely 11 aside if I had to choose in terms of because there's obviously more tactical emphasis
Yeah.
within the 11 aside game, but going down to tens at Arsenal, so open my mind up to all like the different possibilities. You can still create those tactical emphasis and those in possession out of possession roles in 7-5-9 aside as well as 11 aside. So it
Yeah.
kind of opened my mind up in that sense, and just yeah, like a lot of zones and lanes work as well. Like you can still use in that kind of age group, which is great. So yeah, it's opened my mind definitely to open in like coaching different age groups. Yeah,
Brilliant. And so there's say two parts like to this next question. The first
yeah.
one is what challenges have you overcome to get to where you are now? And then the second part is what future challenges do you see that you might come up against to eventually stop you or be a bit of an obstacle for you to get to where you want to go to?
Um, I'd say challenges so far in terms of just getting up every day and keeping on coaching. In terms of just being determined, giving it everything you've got every single day. But in terms of, I think coaching voluntary, I did my first 2 seasons managing a youth team. That was 2 evenings a week training and a match on Sunday. So it was quite a big commitment without kind of being paid, as
Yeah.
well as doing a whole season unpaid at a step 3 non-league team as well. So doing all that at once, all like voluntary, not getting a penny for it. I thought that was quite challenging, but in terms of just to show up and keep going and keep pushing, that's what kind of got me through it. But yeah, I'd probably say that's quite a challenge in terms of the coaching, like that kind of commitment when you're not getting anything for it. I'm gonna say future challenges probably learning a new language and fitting into a new environment. To say, saying for example, moving abroad. Like, of course, it's what I want to do, but it's going to be uncomfortable at first because obviously you still got to adapt and get used to that new environment, new people, new coaching style. So it's going to be a challenge, but ready to relish it. And yeah.
Brilliant. And the one thing I pick up from you is that, like, you're obviously we touched on being open-minded. You're always willing to learn, and kind of where is that sort of drive and desire come from? It's one thing I'm really interested in because
Mm,
I'm sure you know, like I know loads of people, loads of family members, neighbors who are maybe they could be in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and they're
mm.
kind of like, oh, I kind of wish I did this, kind of wish I did that. But chatting to you, you just seem to be like, I just want to go after as much as possible. Has that always been there? Or is that maybe something you've only recently sort of tapped into?
I'd probably say I used to play football when I came back from America on a scholarship. I think ever since then, football didn't work out playing wise. And that's when I kind of locked in and thought, okay, I'm going to give it everything I've got into coaching and see where it gets me. And I think I've been lucky in terms of some opportunities, but I think that's come from hard work and just keeping on pushing and then
Yeah.
just connecting with the right people. But I just think, yeah, like just to work as hard as you can and live life with no regrets and just to keep pushing yourself every single day, no matter what, and just see where you end up. But you got to keep, driving yourself with that mentality to just, yeah, keep doing better every single day, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I totally agree. I would have sort
Mm-hmm.
of been in a similar boat as well, where I went across to the UK a couple of times when I was a kid, and like that didn't really work out, and then it's just like I love football so much, and it sounds the exact same as you. You love football so much to like to give it up. So it's brilliant to see that you have that desire, and then also with that, you're taking a massive risk as well, with moving abroad, because people can obviously stay in the UK, stay in Ireland, whatever, or even go off to like English speaking countries like America or whatever. But the fact that you're willing to go is unbelievable. And would you say like you started off your coaching journey when you were 14, but would you say that sort of the mindset you have is going to give you an advantage just going forward compared to other people who maybe just want to say they could be in your position and they could be coaching with Arsenal or coaching with another academy in England and they're just happy here. But do you reckon with your mindset, do you potentially have an advantage to go and I wouldn't say like do better in a sense, but just potentially achieve more because you're just so willing to go and get it.
I think if it keeps going, yeah, I think it's something to just it's quite difficult to maintain to keep that drive throughout such a long period of time. But I think when you're doing what you love and coaching all the time, I think that will only increase just by dependent on the environment you're putting yourself in. Sorry, but I just think yeah, it depends. It depends on what the goals are and the mindset of the person is. I think, in my opinion, to grow and be able to coach full time and to get into like a big industry in football, in terms of coaching, I think you need to go abroad because in the UK there isn't that many full time opportunities unless you've been an ex pro, come out and been given an opportunity by a pro club, or unless you know someone contact wise, it's quite difficult. So I just think it depends on the mindset of the person, but I think it will definitely help them for sure.
And
Yeah.
then just say for you, would you maybe say, because I would have only started this maybe in the last couple of years, but would you have ever written down one of your goals was to be coaching in Arsenal? Or and also with that, would you write down, say, football specific goals of where you want to end up?
I wouldn't have thought now I'd be coaching Arsenal. I think, of course, I'd always would have liked to, but it wouldn't have been one of my goals when I was younger.
Yeah,
But the opportunity came up, and I kind of just thought well, it's a no-brainer, really.
yeah,
But not in terms of course, like I think in my mind of what's next, like what's the next thing to achieve, what's the next step for me in coaching. I wouldn't say I write them down, but it's always on my mind in terms of what am I thinking to do next or what I want to kind of achieve.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how? Because this is a massive one for me. I think people set goals. It could be anything. It could be like health related or financial related or whatever. If even if it is football and coaching related, but people set these goals and they achieve them, and they don't realize they just absolutely breeze past it. And what would you say you would do? Like, I'm so if you have an idea in your head of where you want to get there, but if you achieve a goal, what's your way of like of rewarding yourself to, okay, I wrote this down 6 months ago or 6 years ago, whatever, and now I finally achieved it. What do you do to celebrate it?
Probably go out with friends to be honest. If it's like a big achievement, have a few drinks, maybe go for a nice meal. It just depends on what it is. But of course, like the most important thing is I think you'd have that self pride and that, you'd be proud of yourself for completing that goal and achieving what you put your mind to and you got it in the end ultimately. So I think that's the most important thing. But obviously, yeah, probably spend time with family and friends if it's celebrating something big.
And would that be like a non-negotiable, nearly in a way that like if you go and do something big, okay, let's go out for dinner, or let's go out and meet friends, or would there also be times where you go do something and it's just like, okay, you're too busy, I'm gonna go celebrate that next week, but then next week ends up turning into 6 months down the line, you're like, okay, I actually didn't celebrate that.
Yeah, I think it just depends. I mean, obviously, if people are available, do it. I think why not just celebrate in the moment?
Yeah,
I think that's the most important thing. But yeah, I know it can be difficult when things get in the way and people are like not available as much, or things get in the way. That's life. So yeah, of course, it'd be a bit frustrating, but I think yeah, try and celebrate as soon as I can, really. But yeah,
excellent. Right, so the very, very last one is a
yeah,
question I've picked up from a really good mate of mine.
yeah.
So this is the question that Jack has given me, and it's
Okay.
what are you going to do, say
Mhm.
this week or say between now and next Monday, to
Yeah.
improve your career goals, improve your life goals, improve anything do you want to go do? Is there maybe even like a tiny thing that you could maybe do this week to say give you a better chance of you definitely getting whatever an offer abroad in the next couple of weeks.
Um, I wouldn't say I've noted down anything specific apart from just keep doing what I'm doing in terms of it's quite a
Yeah.
heavy schedule at the moment with two teams, uni and work. But I think just the usual, like we've got a session tomorrow, so I've got PDP work, just have a great session and potentially do some CPD if I can. So just watching like a webinar on YouTube if I can note things down and pick something else up that can enhance my knowledge. But I think, yeah, we've got a match Sunday, so just fully focus on the week. But of course, trying if I have time do a bit extra on the side to keep progressing. Really,
Well, to
yeah.
be honest, for me, it sounds like you're in a really, really good place. You have really good momentum, and honestly, like when you have momentum and it's consistently building, then whether it's 6 weeks or 6 years, it's eventually going to go and you're going to go and achieve whatever you want to go and achieve. So, but look, mate, honestly, absolutely top class talking to you. I really, really enjoyed it. Unbelievable insight from a coach in such a highly recognizable club. So thank you so much for coming on, and I hope everybody enjoyed the all the nuggets of information that you're after giving me and giving everyone else.
Nah, thank you for the opportunity, Matt. I appreciate it, and it's good. It's always good to speak to yourself, fellow coaches, and just have a chat about football. I think that's what it's all about. Just enjoying it and talking about it really and connecting. So, nah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
All right, sweet. There's another one done then.